Alright, YouTubers, I suppose I will stop trying to sing in videos because I've made several attempts, even though I haven't put any of them up on YouTube. But I've decided that I'm not going to sing in any more videos, but I'm going to read stories because it's what I'm good at. And I'm good at writing stories. And so to start out with, I'm going to read a piece of original poetry. It was mostly because it's my piece that I like the most. It's also my best, and my mom loves it because it was written for her. Alright, this was written in 2007, and the words are on the screen behind the camera. So here goes. I bet you guys want me to shut up now. Okay. Call it The Lay of the Rose. Northern country, and all the air be hushed. The 6th month, on the eve of the next, a band comes. The night calm is shattered by a shriek, and a shrill cry rises from the bed of birth. The high larks all begin an air of solitude to soothe the waking night dwellers in their panic. She is a babe of pain, a child of agony, the light of Almighty dwelling dormant deep within, never seen by eyes of man. In sooth, it was said she would be of much turmoil. In sooth, she would live a tormented adulthood. And in sooth, she would die in old age, of a broken spirit and crushed will. But in pronouncing their sooths, the sayers were in error. The girl grew. In adolescence was impetuous, having no control, no sway over her power. She grew in her ignorance, while strings played in a soft lament, inaudible to her ears. Her innocence dying, she began to turn cold and fulfill her own fates. Her first years of womanhood marred by star-crossed loves and unending loss, a thing no child would bear, but she had something other, marking her. She held within her a power great, one of usefulness. She had her lot, 4, then 5, then 6 offspring of her loins did she produce. A lament changed its course to a lilt of glee as she passed her last child. The rose of Sharon blooms in summer, as in the summer of her discovery of power. She had found it, the power to use an iron will as a shield from misfortune. That is the greatest and most coveted gift of all. The gift of the terrible manifested, she developed into a most befitting test for any soothsayer. She marched one night into their temple and smote their wares upon the wall, as does the maul dropping onto a life pane of freshly wrought glass. The diviners, upon sight of this catastrophic travesty upon their powers, knew not how to respond. Even with their great wits, their clout had been drawn, for everyone knows that a fortune-teller without his globe, cards, and crystals makes for a pitiful mage indeed. They had to rebuild their tools once again before they could again flirt with the events of the times to come. As for the rose, her body remained still, with no young, as she developed her strength. She found that in the autumn of life, that her final day of naivety left her, and that the hoar hair of wisdom began creeping in. There was a man, one of integrity, and who already was the father of 6. He was strong of will and had many rages, but was loving and caring, and was the maker of many unsung triumphs. That's my father. He saw that this rose was quite meet, and wanted to know her, and knew her he did. They married, and in her age, a spark of life in her womb jumped. The child of old age, conceived in the bed of love, was the final product of their hips. He was raised as a tribute to their power. Then, when the boy was in his 10th year, the man of his father, clutched by sickness, made his willing fall to the grave. Dying in his 62nd year, his death spread mourn to his progeny, his woman, the object of his affection, and his sons, and his daughters, and all the rest of the unnamed host, which I will not speak here. The child beginning to discover the undiscovered prodigy his mother and father had imbued him with, began to write, and in his words invoked the pathos of his surroundings, to touch them in their very souls. A spark of idea could break into a far broad flame of greatness, and his thoughts, which could not number themselves, took a root. His mother, the rose of Sharon, which blooms in the summertime, marveled, though she comprehended not. Now she grows tired, thinking tiring things on worn-out feet and swollen legs, and though life has not always been long-suffering, her best days are still left ahead. That's it. Here it is. Goodbye.